One of my ultimate of all favorite plant groups are the ferns and the fern allies, and especially the true ferns, the pterophyta. And with the true ferns, you can see they have these gorgeous leaves that we've talked about in lecture, and they have a special term associated with them. What's that called again? That's called the frond. Okay, and they replicate with those specialized beneath the ground horizontally growing stems called the rhizome, and they have their specialized sporangia on the undersides of their leaves. And what are those called? And they look like this. They look like really neat clusters. Depending on the species, these look like nice little circular flecks. And those are called, recall from class, those are actually called sori. Okay. And sori, again, are the specialized sporangia associated with ferns. And so hence you guys can see, this is what we typically think of when we think of ferns. Now, occasionally I've had somebody ask me a question regarding this structure over here. And they say, well, wait a minute, you're saying this is a seedless vascular plant, right? And that's true. This is a vascular plant. It has xylem and phloem. It's got a really nice ability to conduct, right? That the non-vascular plants lack. And certainly it is indeed seedless, meaning the only way that it gets out and about in nature is through the spores. So somebody's asked me a couple times, hey, but that can't be so. It makes flowers that bear seed. I say, these are not flowers. These are rather what we call fertile fronds. And these are completely engulfed with sori, okay? Now, these are the new ones that are being made this year, okay? And this is obviously last year's. I'll just pluck this one out. Well, it'll maybe let me pluck it off. And again, so that is not in any way, shape, or form a flower that bears seed. This is simply a fertile frond. Now, how diverse are ferns of all the fern and fern allies? They're the most diverse. In my own yard, I got pretty nice diversity. So right behind me is the gorgeous maidenhair fern. It is so called maidenhair because it is said that the leaflets look a little bit like, again, a maiden's hair, whatever that means. Over this way then, you can see throughout my yard, the ostrich fern is taken over. And ostrich ferns, as it would turn out, are one of the delectable forage favorites in the spring. So people that forage for fern fiddleheads, that's the species you want. You need to get them when they're tiny little fiddleheads just starting to pop up. And then you need to prepare them properly to prevent illness. Obviously, you don't want to harvest the wrong species or ill prepare them because you'll get sickened by them. And then also, people that regularly consume the wrong species, the incidence of bladder cancer is through the roof. And I think that's a wrap on these amazing ancient ferns, who to me are one of my favorite plants, and in a lot of ways have shaped humanity in a number of untold ways, especially when you think fossil fuels. What were some of the plants that were fossilized that we extract fossil fuels from? It's the ferns and the fern allies right here. So not only, in my mind, have they shaped my botanical world, but they've shaped humankind's initial reliance upon coal and petroleum reserves that now we're actually trying to find new alternatives to.